should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Well, joining us today live in London is Jason Brewer, CEO of Marula and Shuka as well. Great to meet you in person, Jason.
Yeah, it's like we've been talking for months already, so
indeed.
Good to finally meet you.
Yeah, and of course this morning it was NEO's IPO, wasn't it?
A great event, great to get that done. 2 years in the making, but up and trading now and lots of ambitions for that.
Indeed, yeah, indeed. And I've just had a really good chat with Quinton, who of course is very much involved with Marula and Shuka and of course NEO as well. I mean, that guy, yeah, incredible, really, an inspiration, what he's achieved in his career. And he's got that entrepreneurial mindset where I think he told me he probably gets 3 hours solid sleep a night and he rests for maybe 6 hours.
Yeah.
He's very, very busy. But I mean, I didn't appreciate, I know you've always spoken very highly of him, but until I've actually met him and sat down with him, I didn't really appreciate the sort of person he was. I mean, how does it make, you must be, I feel so inspired having spoken to him now on so many levels. You're working with him on a daily basis.
Yeah, we're catching up twice a month, face-to-face in Joburg. We talk regularly. Hopefully I'm not the one that's keeping him up so many hours. But no, look, I think I said it before, having him on board, the value that he brings, his organisation that he brings, it's not just about the investment dollars. It's not that. Mm-hmm. It's how he wants to work, what he wants to achieve. You know, I think I'm pretty driven. I think I'm pretty committed to what I'm doing. But when you've got someone like that as your partner, and someone like that inspiring you, as you said, inspirational.
Yeah.
It drives you to a different level. It raises you up. So, yeah, I think investors may not truly appreciate the value he brings at the moment, but in the coming months across all the companies that he's invested alongside me with, I think they'll start to see the value there. He is, for someone that's achieved so much, he still wants to achieve more.
Oh yeah. Well, I asked him when does it end, and he couldn't answer me that question.
Yeah.
And I think that's a typical entrepreneurial mindset. Where does it end? It doesn't really end. It's almost like never satisfied.
No, he wants more. And the great thing about it, he's obviously built up an incredibly successful business in the coal, in the logistics, in mining in South Africa. He's now committed to expand into those green transition energy metals and so on, which is great for the companies that I'm clearly involved with and our shareholders. But he's not content just getting involved in one. And as I think I've said, he's not content with a company that's worth 10, 20, 30, 40 million. He works in the hundreds of millions, the $500 million space. So having him alongside and driving us forward, not necessarily, beating us to deliver, but just to inspire us to want to get better. Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, even
that on its own is valuable.
Massively so.
Yeah.
Massively so.
So, I mean, today we've got limited time here, unfortunately. We are in London and we are at Peter House offices here. But what if we can catch up on just a few, elements across the business, really. Let's start with Blesberg. So what's the deal with Blesberg at the moment? Give us the status quo, and then I have some questions that were sent in to me, and hopefully some people might ask some questions live, but they were sent to me yesterday. But just start us off by going through the status quo of Blesberg.
I mean, look, Blesberg's going up a gear. The expansion to the processing facilities, the new TOMRA, the new Rados plants, the sensor-based XRF sorters, they're being upgraded, recommissioned, constructed at the moment now. They're to be installed in December, perhaps later this month.
Okay.
Because they are ahead of schedule there, parts of that plant. The new crushing screening circuit, we're finalising that. That's ready. And will be transported to site and installed. So by the end of this year, you've got a brand new plant with a significantly increased processing capacity that will be producing at the end of this month, at the end of this year and into the new year with material from the existing stockpiles, but also from the hard rock resources. So those hard rock resources have been drilled. The first phase 1 drilling has been completed. We increased the drill program there from 18 holes to 21. And we're about 3/4 of the way through the second phase of drilling, obviously ahead of schedule. So an updated JORC compliant resource will be put out. The mine economic studies are well advanced, and we've got the indicative numbers already. We'll have an independent party verify them, and we'll be putting out something which I guess shareholders have been looking for quite some time. How many tons of product are we producing? What cost? What revenue streams? What MPVs? What monthly annual earnings are we going to make? We're going to be releasing those numbers. Those numbers are going to be going out independently verified. So from a stock exchange point of view, from an investor point of view, they'll be able to take comfort from them because it's coming from an external party. The exploration work is ongoing and continuing. We're finding out so much more about this deposit. The geophysics work has been completed, and that's over the broader license area. And that really is something which the team in South Africa are very excited about, because we're focused on one pegmatite. Pegmatites occur in swarms. We already know we've got, and that pegmatite we're mining is called the Numus 1. You've got Numus 2, Numus 3, small parallel structures to that. They're not going to be included in those initial numbers we put out. So it's purely this one here. And then from the geophysics and from the multispectral satellite imagery work, we're expecting multiple numbers of those to be identified on the license area, which really opens that whole thing up. Quinton's referred to this as a world-class lithium asset. Probably to mention.
Well, he said to me, all the projects are Class A, is what he said. And I must admit, I said this to Quinton, when we first started speaking, I had my doubts. I thought, this sounds a bit too good to be true. Jason Brewer, very slick-looking man, what's all this about?
In a suit today.
But he's not going to get involved in a project that is no good, and he's looking at things very much from a business point of view.
Absolutely. Look, he
wants the return.
He's looking at this because he sees a really good growth company. His technical guys, his finance guys, mining, processing guys have been through this project. They've done their own due diligence. They haven't just taken, they haven't looked at a couple of these slick interviews that we've done. They've been up there on site. They know mining in South Africa. This asset's in the Northern Cape. This is in their backyard. Quinton was actually asking how we managed to get it before we'd even heard of it. Okay, so we've secured an asset which clearly we feel is going to be one of the most significant lithium producers in South Africa, in Southern Africa. So he agrees, he supports that. His technical team agree with that. So with Blesberg, a massive transformation expected over the coming months as we look at expanding processing, not just from those stockpiles, which we've all seen, and where there's been the assay results of that, which have reported up to 6.5% Li2O, but then looking at the hard rock. Actually where these stockpiles have come from. So we've got a great understanding over the past several months from what we've been doing. But through the drilling, through the assay work, we're actually getting a better understanding across the whole license area. So very excited about Blesberg as we go on this year.
Well, you've answered one of the questions already, which was regarding the XRT and the sorters when they're going to be installed. I have another couple of questions that we can perhaps just quickly go over them. When will you look to be publishing survey results for Blesberg, along with the JORC resources and any preliminary results from Corridor?
We're primarily focused on Blesberg at the moment. So as I just mentioned there, we will have those independently verified numbers to go out. We'll be putting out assay numbers as they come through. So we're expecting assay results now from the first phase of drilling. So over the course of November and early December, we're expecting a fair bit of news flow in regards to those exploration activities there at Blesberg. And they will also include, clearly, updates on that corridor license, which increased our footprint, I should say, in that area, 80 times. So we're not just content with Blesberg. We see that whole region as being something of significance from a lithium producing pegmatite area. So we'll be looking at consolidating, expanding our footprint further in that area.
In terms of the offtake agreement, I know we've spoken about that before, but there's a question here that came in. Is there a delay on the offtake agreement due to perhaps a falling price of SC6, or has a fixed price and the delay is for non-price reasons? No,
look, I mean, we've had a lot of discussions, and I was in South Africa just the other week meeting the group that we pretty much agree with. The key part there has come down to pricing. Not the current level of pricing, but the pricing metrics that we're going to use, given the grade. So, what international benchmark price are we going to use or fix our contract to? As you know, the lithium market is relatively new. It's not like copper or gold, where there is a very transparent market, quoted to LME, London gold bullion, etc., etc. On lithium, as call it an industrial mineral, the market is very opaque. There's no singularly agreed benchmark price. out there. So we've been working out how we are going to have that contract linked to a price that we agree and what we then base on the payments from. So with the grade of material, if it's between 4.5% and 5%, it's this. 5 to 5.5 this, 6.5 it's that. So that's been the major area of discussion. Nothing to do with volumes or this or that. It's purely that pricing metrics. The other key thing from us, and this is something which has come from mine and Quinton's discussions, is do we want to commit all our production to that contract, or do we want to commit, say, half, and then have the other half available to deliver under, call it like an auction process, which is what, if you look at Western Australia and someone like Pilbara Minerals, which is one of the leading producers of spodumene concentrate in Western Australia, they operate a monthly auction for their product. So it gives them, I guess, a bit more control over how they're able to benefit from those supply-demand metrics there. So that's just something we've been talking about over recent weeks, which is kind of, okay, do we give everything up now, or do we kind of hold something back, which allows us to take better advantage of some of the market movements?
Okay. And you're hoping to get that concluded in the short term?
Yeah, look, this was supposed to have been done a number of weeks ago. So it's just down to these final negotiations. Testing work has been completed. They want our product. We're negotiating whether it is which port we're going to be delivering it to, or at mine site. So we're just working that out. Clearly, with Quinton's group as well, they're very well established in the logistics. The amount of coal volumes they're moving each month. So moving smaller volumes of high-value products such as the spodumene here, that's something we're working with them on as well.
Well, Quinton definitely said to me, when you're interviewing CEOs, make sure you hold them to account. So I will be. He works with you,
Please
so
do.
if I ask you direct questions, then you can blame Quinton for that. But you're a straight guy, I think, Jason. So I will be following up on those offtake agreements.
Mark, answering your direct questions is fine. Honestly, I've got to answer to Quinton all the time as well.
Sure.
Yeah, that's not bad.
On KUSI, then, if we just move on to KUSI, someone had a question here. Do we have a date for the plant delivery at KUSI?
We're still finalising that at the moment.
Okay.
A lot has changed over KUSI over the past 2-3 weeks.
Okay.
I did a presentation at the Tanzanian Mining Investment Forum up in Dar es Salaam, and the reception I got, I was overwhelmed. We had 45 minutes with the Minister of Mines. We then met the Deputy Minister. I'm doing my presentation, packed auditorium, and sitting in the front row was this woman. And as I'm talking about KUSI, she's applauding me. Literally mid-presentation, she's applauding me, and I'm looking at this going, okay, that's a bit strange. So anyway, presentation finishes, that session finishes. I'm then walking off the stage, and literally a couple of hundred people descended on me asking questions, one of which was this woman. And she's the regional commissioner, effectively the governor of the Dodoma region, where we have KUSI. She was blown away at our progress and what we're doing, wants to learn more, wants to get involved. What's holding you back? How can we assist? How can we facilitate more investment? It was amazing. So the support we received in Tanzania for KUSI and that mine development really has just blown us away. So myself, I was there with the Takela directors as well. So we've got to head up to Dodoma to meet with them to really look at the scale upon which we're going to develop the KUSI project. Like I say, the support there really blew me away.
It's really great to hear that, because that also echoes what I was talking about with Quinton about the future is Africa. I mean, that's what he said, the future is Africa. I get such a good feeling about Africa at the moment, not just as a place to go. It's a beautiful country, I love going there, but as a future for securing the green metals. It's as Quinton said, it's low-hanging fruit. It's underexplored. It's become a lot easier to do business in recent years. There's an example there.
Look, Tanzania, a number of years ago, under the previous president, there was a lot of investment which has been put on hold, which had stalled. The new president, she's come in, and the sentiment now towards investing in Tanzania has gone up massively. And you've seen it with some of the successful gold and graphite investments going on there. And it's not surprising. The reception that you get when you go there, you meet with all key stakeholders. Like I say, it really has kind of taken me by surprise at the support that we've got and what we can achieve there. So it's not that we're pushing ahead with KUSI. It's just now, we were always, the first plant is a relatively small plant, whilst we'll continue with the exploration, similar to what we've done at Blesberg. Obviously fast-tracked with the investment from QGC. We're now looking at moving very quickly from producing that kind of concentrate of a 25% copper con to actually putting in place an SXEW plant to produce cathode. Previously, that time frame to get to that point was 12, 18 months. Now we're looking at it, it's like, guys, we've got to move quicker. The opportunity there is of such significance. We need to step ourselves up. We need to change gear. We need to move faster. And that's supported by the team at QGC, by their technical people, by all the technical consultants that we've brought in. So it's now a case of, right, how do we get doing that? We've got the big Blesberg development going on. We've got the KUSI development now to really move fast.
Okay.
So KUSI's an exciting.
KUSI is the next one, is it, after Blesberg?
Very much.
So so just to summarise on that, Swarters in December for Blesberg, numbers will be coming out soon, as well as the exploration results, that kind of thing. Offtake agreement to be signed imminently, I hope.
I'll be speaking with Quintin on that straight after we speak here.
Okay, and then KUSI finalising the plant design then, and more to hear on that, but lots of support on the ground. Nairobi and Yuri, just quickly, I didn't have any questions on Nairobi and Yuri, but just what's going on? Just give us a sense.
Yuri, obviously the 10 granted mining licenses there with Takela.
Mm-hmm.
We've then recently announced the acquisition or a transaction with Yuri Green, which is 10 additional mining licenses, same location. We've got Geofields that are doing that initial sampling mapping program there, and with a view of actually starting to do some initial DSO production. We've also been approached by another group that want us to basically purchase their product. So they're actually doing small scale mining at the moment. They're unable to receive or secure a market related price. Local Tanzanian company, not surprising. So we may well be looking at basically moving very quickly to call it a producer status, not just on our material, but on third-party material, which will allow us then to commit to a plant and actually start establishing a plant up there. So that's something which is quite exciting. We're in the process of appointing a new processing engineer, which will cover all of our operations up there in Tanzania and across the border in Kenya. That's somebody that's been working on a very attractive nickel project up there as well in Tanzania. So that kind of comes with the package, so to speak. So our footprint on that battery metals sector, not just the graphite, the copper, the nickel, and the lithium in South Africa is really going to be stepping up, obviously over this quarter. But he's going to get very much involved on the graphite side as well and work out how best we can take advantage of the current market situation and the current situation in Tanzania, where there is small-scale production, but of a DSO product. So then they're not even separating it into the small, medium, large, and jumbo flake. And obviously in the large and jumbo flake, that's where you're getting significant premium, and where one of the key attractions of getting involved in Yuri and Yuri Green was because of what we saw there. We're able to touch, feel, see. So yeah, it's not on the back burner. It's not going any slower than the rest of them. We're just waiting to kind of bring in that news as we go through later this month and early in December too.
Okay, perfect. Well, I do have some other questions that are more general in nature, but I think our time in this room is limited, so I'll probably
keep going.
Just keep going until we're disturbed. Well, the first one, the Nairobi Exchange listing. What's going on with that? That's going to be
secured ahead of the move of our primary listing here in London and ahead of the JSE. We've had meetings with the NSE. We've appointed all our key advisors in Nairobi, in Kenya, and they've come up with a date which is later this month.
Okay.
So we will be putting out a formal RNS just confirming those key appointments. What I want to have in that RNS is not that we'll be listed by the end of this month. I actually want to put a formal listing date.
Okay.
So we're working with them. When I get back from London here, we've got meetings with them all again on Monday. I think the majority of the work is done.
Okay.
We've got support from the government there to be listed, and we will be the first listed mining company on the Nairobi Securities Exchange. And we'll be one of the first listings in some years. And I think both Nairobi Securities Exchange and the London Stock Exchange are massively behind us to get this done. So
Okay.
it will be happening this month.
Okay. Quarterly report. Apparently it's late again.
It's going out on Monday.
Right.
So
Okay.
my apologies there with everything going on. It's final edits, final formatting. It's being released.
Okay. When will Marula likely reach a market cap of 30 million to be eligible for main listing?
I would hope that with, and I'm sure our friend Quinton here touched on it, he's got his ideas of where we should be valued.
Yes.
I would hope with the various news flow that's happening over the course of this month and next, that we should be well in excess of that 30 million criteria
Okay.
this quarter.
Okay, perfect. I think that covers most of the questions. If any other questions come in, I've got you all day, so I'll just ask you them, and then we can. I'll just write the answers. But thank you so much for sitting down with me live today, Jason.
My pleasure.
And we'll be speaking again throughout the rest of the day, I'm sure.
Fantastic. Thanks, Mark.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programmes at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.